Assalamu alaikum, you're watching Views and News and I'm Faisal Rahman live from our Islamabad studios. Today we'll be talking about the future of Afghan peace process and the ongoing situation inside Afghanistan. As we all know, the Taliban, they've been able to seize, at least according to the Afghan ambassador in New Delhi, at least 150 districts have been seized by the Taliban and they are gaining control over more. And secondly, since I was watching an interview of the gentleman who is stationed in New Delhi, he was saying that perhaps things would get out of the hands if there is no foreign support for the Afghan government. And especially they were asking the Indians that they should politically, morally, as well as diplomatically support the Afghan government. And so the case is with the Americans. But let's see where it leads, what exactly is going to happen. India has got a lot of concerns now since the Taliban, they have been able to capture at least 85% of the territory of Afghanistan according to their spokesperson. And perhaps, according to the new news, there were 7 districts earlier in the control of the Taliban were taken away by the Afghan forces. So now, since the Afghan forces, they will give them a tough time in certain areas, including Kabul and a couple of other major cities. But let's see where it leads and what exactly is going to happen. That is going to be the real question in our today's program. Let me quickly introduce you to our panelists. We have with us in our studio on my right is Dr. Nazir Mahmood Saab. Nazir Saab is a senior columnist, writer. Sir, thank you so much for your time. And we have with us Brigadier retired Tipu Sultan Saab, who's a senior analyst. Needs no introduction. Thank you so much, Brigadier Saab. And we also have with us on Skype Mia Sanullah, the former ambassador, senior diplomat. Sana Saab, thank you so much for your time, sir. Pleasure to have you on the program as well. Nazir Saab, without even asking you a question, whatever you're reading in the papers, whatever sort of information you're gathering regarding the Taliban, sir, there are 2 different mindsets prevailing in Pakistan. One seems to be pretty happy, including some senior analysts also, and they believe that things would change because whatever they have said, if they really work on those lines, relationship between the 2 countries will improve and Pakistan will not be facing any threat from the western borders. In particular, if Afghan Taliban, they take charge of the area and where they have. You talk about Landi Kotal, you talk about Chaman, so many other areas, and they have their flags there now. What exactly is happening, sir? Should we consider that as a threat or as something which is going to be good for Pakistan?
Well, I don't think that there is a clear answer to that question because the situation is volatile. Taliban have definitely gained much lately in the past couple of weeks. In fact, the most important probably is securing the checkposts, not only with Pakistan, but with Tajikistan, with Uzbekistan, even with Iran. So, all major international borders apparently are already under Taliban control. Major checkpost with Iran, Uzbekistan,
China, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan,
with China they have a very narrow border. But
that's very strategic also, sir.
Very strategic, highly mountainous area. So, this is one major gain that they have because if Afghanistan is a landlocked country and if all major border crossings are already under Taliban control, it leaves only air connection with the outside world for the Kabul government. So, this is one major gain for Taliban, and the second is territorial gain. As you just mentioned that even according to the Afghan ambassador, Kabul government ambassador in Delhi, they are admitting that 150 districts and in total number of districts are around 400. So, even if that is true, 1/3 to half of the area is already under Taliban control, though Taliban are claiming that they have already occupied 80 to 85%, which sounds a bit exaggerated. But even if half of the territory is under their control, that is a major gain. So, this is one. Why I am saying that the clear answer to that, whether it is good for Pakistan or bad for Pakistan, it is yet to be seen. How Taliban behave, because they have been claiming that they are a changed Taliban now. In fact, some of Pakistani ministers like Sheikh Rashid and Shah Mahmood Qureshi have said that they are not the same Taliban, they are now more sophisticated people, or so things like that. But on the ground, when they take over, if they do take over Kabul, which will not be an easy task, if they manage, It all depends on how neighboring countries react. Just like Prime Minister of Pakistan, Imran Khan, also, he is in Tashkent at the moment, and he said that if peace is restored, that will be good for the region. If peace is restored, definitely it is good for Pakistan. But if neighboring countries do not recognize Taliban, even after capture of Kabul, because if we
So
remember,
don't you think they have a proper understanding with the Russians, and the Russians, they have got a lot of influence on the Central Asian republics?
it depends. Last time when for 5 years Taliban were in control and only 3 countries recognized them as legitimate government, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia and UAE. Now even Saudi Arabia is not as pro-Taliban
But, sir,
as it used to be.
What about Turkey, Qatar, Pakistan, China, Russia, Iran, and Central Asian states?
It depends. You know, they have not openly come out supporting Taliban. They have not said that we would recognize Taliban as legitimate government. So it is yet to be seen, and that will depend on how Taliban behave in the territories that they in fact occupied. If they try to repeat the same mistake that did previously, if they try to re-establish a theocratic government, if they still remain an extremist militant group, which they are, because even according to UN, even now, according to UN list, they are categorized as a terrorist group. So they have to change that perception.
Commandos who were fighting and then they got out of ammunition and they were killed.
They were
and
killed.
very brutally killed.
Yes.
Now, the Indian media, in fact, I've heard it myself, they are saying that the Taliban should be tried under the war crimes.
Now, you know, this is, if those videos are true, because there are different versions. One version is that Taliban are saying that no, this is an old video. So if the video is new and that is true, this is definitely, you know, even prisoners of war have their rights. If they surrender and the video clearly shows that they have surrendered, but then they are brutally killed. Whether new or old, they are killed. So this is tantamount to war crime. If somebody surrenders, you are not allowed to kill that person. So if they continue behaving in that manner, they will not be winning friends. In fact, they will be losing friends. And if they try to impose the same traditional laws, their own interpretation of theocracy that they have on women, like banning, destroying schools for girl child, if they keep doing that. So they have to work a lot in changing that perception, because Pakistan has also suffered a lot at the hands of Taliban. This is true. We have lost 70,000 people. Now, those 70,000 people that we have lost in Pakistan, we did not lose fighting against United States or Uzbekistan or Iran. I mean, we lost those people fighting against terrorism. And who were those terrorists? The very same people who attacked APS, and they took the responsibility also that we were the ones who did it. So if they keep doing this, their perception in the world is that they are still an extremist militant group. They need to change that perception. If they fail to change that perception, and so far the evidence is that they are not trying to change that perception. The videos that they are coming, they are still stuck in the 15th century. This is 21st century. If they try to establish
no music, no shave,
no education for girls, if they and
no
then
cigarette smoking,
no shaving, these are minor
but
things.
Zabihullah Mujahid, or I'm not exactly sure whether it was Zabihullah Mujahid or it was Suhail Shaheen, one of them, in fact, said that this is not what we have said. This is a total propaganda against us.
So let's see. It is still to be seen.
I mean, yet to be seen.
Yet to be seen.
Now, Brigadier Saab, couple of huge developments in Afghanistan. First of all, sir, is it good news for Pakistan or is it bad news for Pakistan? Because Indians are getting really worried now that perhaps the sort of role of Pakistan, the influence of Pakistan is still a lot on the Taliban. And most of these Taliban, they not only get the medical treatment from Pakistan, they go, they operate, they still believe in that. And they believe that Pakistan is supporting them. Now, my point is, sir, that Pakistan itself, is a victim of war on terror. Now, obviously, we are, looking at the situation, from a distance. And we really want that it should be Afghan-led, Afghan-owned. But it seems that the civil war-like situation, sir, it is already there.
Well, Faisal, I will tell you that we should get out of the tactical mode and think of the strategic mode. The point is that the Americans had come here after 9/11, they fought for 20 years, they lost, went back. The Indians exploited the situation for 20 years in killing Pakistanis, and the CIA was in full climax and NDC and raw. Taliban ruled in the mid-90s, there was no terrorism in Pakistan. So, that settles what we fear. Right now the position is that when they when they captured Spin Baldak, they had that currency which was being dished out to terrorists, fanning terrorism in Balochistan, Sindh and elsewhere. Only yesterday they were successfully killed 9 Chinese who were making the dams. Today,
Wasn't that an accident, sir?
it was not an accident. It was
The 3 Pakistani and 9
a
Chinese.
blast which caused the transport bus in which they were travelling to go into the ravine. Today we lost a captain in Pasni, along with some Jawans, and we have lost scores of military persons, civilians, school children, etc. What is this? It's not creation of Taliban. It's a creation of agencies that operate, facilitate, and fund the terrorism into Pakistan. Now, having said
So
that,
this means
let's-
that the Afghan soil will remain very fragile, and on top, all these proxies from various intelligence agencies.
You said it.
I mean, this is
you know, if the
hub
Afghan,
for them
if the Afghan soil is free of the Americans, free of RAW, free of CIA, free of Daesh sponsored by the Americans, free of Al Qaeda and all that, and only the Afghans rule that, I think we will be at ease to deal with those people better than we were trying to deal with the Americans and NATO forces over there. The situation now is that the government in Kabul is besieged. It is under siege. It is not a functional government. I don't know whose ambassador is sitting in Delhi and what is his prowess when he passes all those statements in Hamid Karzai and all that. They should be ashamed of themselves. They supported the foreign forces for 2 decades and they fought the Taliban. Taliban are victors. They are calling the shots. And they are the ones with whom Pakistan have to deal with. Strategically, they first closed the Badakhshan border into the Central Asian states, the Targundi border, now Chaman. Very soon they will be controlling the Jalalabad exit from Peshawar and all those places, Ghulam Khan and Angur Adda and whatnot. Right now, the Taliban are telling the government in Kabul, because Dostum and Khalili and Gulbuddin Hikmatyar, they are saying they are ready to go to Doha for talks with the Taliban. Ashraf Ghani is telling them, you will not go without my orders. The government is there in Kabul. But that government is what government is that? Which is not effective in the territories of Afghanistan. As we talk, Kandahar might fall tonight or after a few days, and then Ghazni and all that. I think Kabul will remain besieged, and this time across the Salang Pass in Hindu Kush, the Taliban started from the north.
Yeah.
You know, and the difference is that previously when they were ruling in 97, the public was not as much with them as they are now. It's a snowballing effect.
What's the reason for that, sir? Why
The
do they have
reason
the
they-
public support?
There are 2 reasons for that. The one reason is that the public do understand that Taliban have survived as a political and military power, and they fear them. So and then the rule.
So they've been able to create that kind of impression.
The Americans have been bombing the marriage parties. They did not.
Madrasas, schools, you name
The
it. sir.
schools, madrasas, and you talk it. I think if you read Stanley Woolpert and what he is, what that writer writes is that between 2003 or 1, when the Americans started getting effective over there, till 2008, they had that honeymoon period in which they could have turned the tide towards them and changed the thinking of Afghan people by developing them, by cajoling them, by telling them that look, you rule and we'll facilitate, we'll make roads, we'll make schools for you,
But they had a
hospitals,
different agenda,
everything.
obviously.
They did absolutely nothing. And compare that, the American generalship and leadership is void of any strategic and humane thinking as of now. Compare this with Douglas MacArthur at the end of Pacific War. What he did he signed the armistice on a ship, and many people in Japan committed suicide. Americans nuked Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and yet when Douglas MacArthur was going out of Japan, the entire Japanese nation was weeping. Why? That is the difference between the current leadership and the leadership at that time. That we must keep in mind. And the Americans have failed miserably in the strategic plans, in the political plans, the developmental plans, and the human plans. They should be ashamed when they talk of human rights.
Talking
and all.
about
The thing is that the Taliban are not going to budge an inch. The public are with them. These cities are going to fall. The Iranian support from Heratis and Dostum and everybody is going to do nothing in Ahmad Shah Massoud of the Panjshir Valley and Badakhshan and all that. They are all under siege. Kabul government is under siege and they are worried. All the outposts of their battalions or companies or platoons have been captured by Taliban. For Pakistan, if Pakistan tells the Taliban firmly, oh, we hold a stake in Afghanistan and we can control the Afghan economy because the Afghan economy depends on us. It is the root. Look what the Prime Minister was saying in Uzbekistan a short while ago. He was talking of railway line from there to through Afghanistan to Jalalabad and then going to Gwadar and all that. So if that happens, and if there is peace in Afghanistan, if there is peace in Afghanistan, I think it is a win-win situation.
All those countries which encircle Afghanistan would benefit.
And why should we press the Afghanis whether they should have a Sharia law or democracy?
It's their headache.
It is their headache. What they want to do.
We've also been joined in by Mia Sanaullah Saab, former ambassador, senior diplomat. Mia Sanaullah Saab, Assalamu alaikum ji. Good to see you and good to have you in the show, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mia Saab, now the question is that whatever is happening in Afghanistan, the pace is so rapid that it is worrying everyone. All the neighbors, we never thought that Taliban would take over. Yeah, we knew that. But so soon and so easily, that was something which we never thought of. Now, first of all, sir, when it comes to diplomacy between these two countries, do you think now things would change? There has to be a different paradigm altogether, sir? Or you believe that the kind of relationship we earlier had with Afghanistan, we should continue on the same lines?
Basically, both the countries have to live normal life. And if Taliban, as expected, as they agreed at Doha, comes up to fulfill the promises and the pledges, and there is a peaceful recapturing of Kabul, and it is accepted by the neighboring countries as well as by UN, then there should not be any problem for Pakistan. Pakistan will face two kind of situation. One is that ascending Taliban and their rule on certain areas, maybe a major territory, but then having no capability or capacity to wage a conventional war against Kabul regime. Whosoever is there, it may be Ghani's government, or maybe another person replacing him. The other thing is that, God forbids, if by our own actions and by our own declarations, major part of the Taliban gets angry and get enraged with Pakistan. And that would be very dangerous for Pakistan. As I see and hear from colleagues on this program, it appears that the Taliban are very popular. I have been to Afghanistan 6-7 months before, and I don't think so. Frankly, I have been to Mazar Sharif, I have been to many universities, I have spoken to young people. Things have changed in the last 20 years. As it was stated, that Taliban have to change. They have to. It is not our responsibility. It is not our country. It is our neighboring country, and it is entirely up to Afghans what kind of government, what kind of constitution they really want to implement in Afghanistan. But one thing is very clear, that as promised, its soil or territory should not be used for terrorism against any country around or beyond their territory. Second, we must not forget that it is a mosaic of the Afghan society is a mosaic of cultural mosaic, and it is all ethnic. Though partly it has become modern, but still it remains very ethnic, very tribal, very transitional society. It is still divided, and many ethnic society, tribes are very weak, and they need to be included in whatever system they really introduce in Afghanistan. And so, as said earlier, Taliban will have to change in accordance with their preferences, their priorities, their capabilities, as well as the expectations of other Afghans.
All right.
I think tomorrow they are meeting in Doha with the delegation
There
from
has to be a proper framework, sir,
from
because
Kabul,
that's how
Kabul.
governments work.
Yes.
Absolutely. Now, coming to you, sir, now, whosoever is in power, sir, at the end of the day, it seems that most likely the Taliban will take charge. You talk about the ground support, sir, it has increased as compared to 1996. Now, the way people are, encouraging them, the way people are receiving them in various villages, despite all odds, whether because of the scare factor or the fear factor, or perhaps they really want them to be there, or they were already fed up of the previous
Absolutely.
two regimes of Ashraf Ghani and two regimes of the previous president Hamid Karzai, and the kind of corruption they've gone through. I think they could have done so much, but nothing has been done for the average Afghan individual, sir. Whether you talk about women, or you talk about children, or you talk about the elderly. Don't you think, sir, high time for development, high time for the real issues, like the way we always set these Millennium Development Goals or Sustainable Development Goals for that matter. I mean, something of that sort could be arranged for this particular war-torn country, sir.
Not if the Taliban are at the helm. I agree with Mia Sanaullah Saab. He has traveled through Afghanistan. I have also been to Afghanistan many times because I am related with the education sector. I have been to their colleges, universities, talked to people. There is a wide difference because, and he rightly, Sanaullah Saab very rightly pointed out that ethnic dimension we should also keep in mind. Half of Afghanistan is Pashtun, and in fact, almost 100% Taliban are Pashtuns. And Uzbeks and Tajiks and Hazaras and other Turkmens, they compose the remaining 50% of Afghan population. And if you talk to them, they don't like Taliban. So this assumption that the whole of Afghanistan is welcoming Taliban, in fact most of them are terrified, especially young people. As Sanaullah Saab pointed out, in 20 years the world has moved forward. We are living in the 21st century. The women, young girl, young men, they don't want to, what Taliban want to put the clock back. They want to take their country back to 15th century. I don't think that young Afghan generation will allow that. And the world, as you said, that Millennium Development Goal and Sustainable Development Goal, these are all set by the UN. And if UN lists Taliban as terrorist group, do you think that just by capturing Kabul,
negotiating with them, sir, so why should they consider them
they
as
are
terrorist
negotiating,
group?
but internationally they are considered as a, one thing is very clear, because we are short of time. I will just conclude my discussion. We should be very careful. Pakistan should be very careful. We should not keep repeating mistakes. Then when we say that the world considers us that why we are in FATF and we don't support Taliban, we don't support terrorists. The world thinks so. And to change that perception, we should not be serving as advocates of the Taliban, as we are doing. Our ministers are doing. This is a grave mistake. If they take over Kabul and the world does not recognize them, where do we stand? The sword of FATF is on our head. I mean, are we crazy? We are living in which paradise? I mean, the world is changed now. They will not accept Taliban have the
West will
Kabul
not.
as
Let's put it this way, the West will not.
well,
because
Saudi
again,
Arabia will not. They are not
and all
supporting
the
Taliban.
countries under the influence of the
Uzbekistan,
West.
Uzbek sympathies are with Uzbek population, and Uzbeks are mostly in Afghanistan. Uzbek people, you talk to them. I have been there. I have talked to them. You talk to most of the Uzbek people, they are anti-Taliban. You talk to Tajik people, they are anti-Taliban. So if that is the situation on the ground, and we say that everybody is welcoming, then Afghanistan will be divided into two. Pashtun Afghanistan
non-Pashtun.
and non-Pashtun Afghanistan, and that will not be good.
Please,
Well,
sir,
right
quick
now,
comments, sir, because
right now we
hardly have 2 minutes left.
have a problem at hand because there is a war. Afghanistan is in a state of war, and much has to be decided, much has to flow, much has to come from future. If we keep considering what the West is thinking, what the Americans have been thinking regarding Afghanistan, then we will be living into those 2 decades of war that the West has waged on Afghanistan. The point is that Afghanistan is made up of a culture, of a society which is Afghan-like. You cannot force the Afghans to, live in the Western democracy or other values. Afghanistan is what Afghanistan is over centuries, and unfortunately nothing has changed. But this time around, when you look at the Taliban negotiating teams and what they are saying in Doha, what are they saying in Moscow, what are they saying around the world, and Zabiullah Mujahid is known to have said that we are not trying to rule Afghanistan all by ourselves. But they do not recognize all those forces which sided with the Americans, with the NATO forces to throw them out. They are saying that we have to restore our government like we were there in 97, we will restore Afghanistan, then we will invite the Americans after 2 years. They are not refusing anybody, and I assure you, although it is in future, I can only guess, but there will be much more than 3 countries who recognize Taliban this time. And if it is the Afghan people who accept a certain type of government, then we are nobody to change that. And it is not, the Uzbeks and Hazaras and all that. I have been to Ghazni, I have been to Madar-e-Sharif myself, I've spoken to Mullah Mansoor Akhtar when he was in power over there. I've been to Afghanistan. So Afghanistan, if the people are against Taliban, then they should come forward and tell us.
But that is not going to happen, sir. But since I'm totally out of time, I just want the last quick comment from Ambassador Saab. Over to you, sir. Last 1 minute, sir, please, if you could wrap it up.
It is not a question of Western thinking, or we are suggesting that Western lenses must be used to study the new phenomena. Actually, the problem for Pakistan is that if for any reason the neighboring country refuses to recognize Taliban as the new rulers, where would we stand? That is the worrisome question. But
Exactly.
as I said, the more we keep ourselves a bit aloof and don't indulge in very verbostic claims, and we must wait and see. And then we should never ever issue statements which pretend to which look like intervention in Afghans' affairs. Though we are not interested, we want them to adopt their own way of future. If they go for Taliban.
All right. Ambassador Saab, I'm so sorry to cut you here, but since we are totally out of time. But anyway, thank you very much for your participation. Brigadier Saab, was a pleasure having you, sir. And thank you so much, Nazir Saab. And that's all we have for this. I'll see you, inshallah, tomorrow at 8. Till then, you take good care. Allah Hafiz.